Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price. Beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, May the 6th. I've got Dr. David Newman with us today, hypnotherapist. Good to have you here, David.
Thanks.
And RoseHeart Hypnotherapy Success Centers. He came in, he said, what do you want to talk about today? And he gave me a list of 145 different topics to choose from. And I said, let's talk about obsession. Because everybody has an obsession.
They do.
Right? Some people have more obsessions than others.
And some people have them at lesser and greater, urgency.
Sorry, so what do you classify as an obsession?
Obsession is anything that your mind continually goes back to. Okay, it could be an image, for example. It could be an event. It could be a person. It could be an object. It could be something like we were talking about before, yard work. It has to be done a certain way. I want my yard to look a certain way. And those are all good obsessions up to a point, okay? But when you go over that point where it becomes unhealthy is when you get a thing called obsessive compulsive behavior. Now, the TVs will sit down there, the TV show and movie shows, and they'll show a person repeatedly turning on and off a light switch, locking a door repeatedly, washing their hands. But in reality, in my world, when I'm dealing with a person that's obsessive compulsive, I could take these flowers, which look pretty even, and I could take this and move it just that much.
And the
person that is obsessive compulsive will come in and see that, and they'll move it exactly back where it is. And that is going a little on the extreme side. That's not healthy.
So you're saying you can be obsessed, and it's okay to be obsessed as long as you don't go overboard with it.
Absolutely. Some people, for example, are obsessed with time. Now, if you happen to be a person like a ditch digger, okay, being obsessed with time really isn't that big a thing because you're going to be out there for a certain period of time and you're not going to quit before a certain period of time. However, if we take a person like you in the entertainment industry, you have to be obsessed with time because everything on your professional life evolves around that clock.
That's right. When we were doing Pepper and Friends, a television show, we'd have 7 or 8 segments in an hour.
Right.
So we had 4.5 to 5 minute segments. And it got to the point where I could almost down to 10, 15 seconds know where we were on time because I would be so obsessed with staying on time.
You're exactly right.
And then when it would go long, everything was messed up.
Exactly, and you would probably also notice that your performance would start downgrading because you were thinking in your mind, I got to wrap this up, I got to do these other things, and so your performance would naturally drop down a little bit. And it may not be noticeable to everybody else, but it was to you.
But now there are some people that you know that it just seems like they're very carefree, problems roll off their back like water on a duck's back. That's okay, isn't it?
Sure.
How do you become more like that and just get rid of all the obsessions?
Get rid of the stress and things like that. There's a number of things that you can do. A lot of people really enjoy meditation. Here's the problem with meditation, especially if you happen to be obsessive. You want to do it exactly right. The secret to meditation is not having thoughts. In other words, don't focus on just one thought. Meditation is actually the absence of all thoughts, being in this second where I'm not thinking about anything, nothing is in there, I'm just feeling the second, okay? Very difficult to get. The Zen Buddhists will achieve it after many, many years, but when that happens, you're actually going into a brainwave state called theta. And theta is, if you can maintain theta rate, you will be extremely creative. You will find outstanding solutions to any problems. And this is one of the things that a lot of CEOs practice. So when they get hit with corporate issues, they go into that theta state and they can come up with a solution that's outside of the box, but it'll work. And they stay ahead. So the people that are very relaxed and carefree have kind of learned how to judge that, but they've also changed their own stuff. For example, a lot of times they don't have cell phones. or they won't have pads, they won't have computers, they won't do other things. Or if they do, they sit down there and go, when I get in the house, this all turns off and I don't touch it. Now, for those of us that happen to be very technologically obsessed, that's like suicide. I can't do it.
Yeah,
but
all
I try.
But the one thing that I found I have obsession with garden and yard work. It's got to be done a certain way. And now I'm realizing as I get a little bit older, I'm telling myself, maybe it doesn't have to be exactly that way. Who says this is the right way and that's the wrong way?
Actually, we learned that between the ages of 0 and 14. And we usually learn that from our secondary caregiver. That's the way that we take that type of suggestibility and we take that type of communication, where everything has to be done very, very precisely. There's a right way and a wrong way. And my father always used to tell me there's 3 ways to do something: the right way, the wrong way, and then the military way. No, the military way, which he always said was always screwed up. But anyway, and he was kind of right. Now, what I've learned, and I actually learned this in a biology class one time, is we had to look at a flower. Okay, and we looked at the flower, and the flower was beautiful. And we looked at it under a microscope. And go, okay, now this is the exact same flower, or a different flower, but it's the exact same type and everything else. And now what Dr. Grassel said was, find the difference. Oh, there isn't a difference. Yeah, there is. Look at it under a microscope, you'll see the difference. And I go, okay, what does that prove? It says, nothing is absolutely, positively perfect. There is perfect in the imperfection. So for me, I've learned that, okay, if it's not done exactly perfect, if I'm out there mowing the yard and I find 5 pieces of grass that I mowed over, but it just didn't cut, okay, next time I'll get them. And I can live with that.
Okay, so it's important to realize where the limitations are.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I think many of us need to learn, don't you think?
It is. One of the things that my father told me about it is, when you look at a situation, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen from this? If everything goes south, what's the worst thing that can happen? And if the answer is nothing, nobody's going to die, it's not going to put me in bankruptcy or anything else like that, it really isn't a problem. Okay. So just move on with it. Focus on the problems, the stuff that really matters.
If people want more information, there's almost any topic. You can cover almost any topic.
Sure.
146 ways that hypnotherapy can help you: anger, worry, guilt, forgiveness, nail biting?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's
anxiety.
Yeah.
Low blood pressure, smoking, procrastination. Oh, that's something I know a lot of people.
Procrastination?
Could work on procrastination.
Well, one of these times we'll have to talk about it.
All right. But if people want more information, how do they get in touch with you?
You can go to our website, which is www.mohyp.com, or give us a call at 888-604-9997.
Okay, Dr. David Newman, it is always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Talking about obsessions today. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Our audio is Trevor Harris. Floor director is Ariel Sierra, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. If there's something you would like to hear or see, I would love to hear from you. Drop me an email. That's pepperp@missouri.edu. Have yourself a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.